From public law to private virtue. We've explored how cultures across time sought to enshrine the duty of elder care in sacred law and civil mandate. But even in the most reverent of those traditions, people could still perform obedience without love or fulfill an obligation without tenderness. They could follow the law and miss the deeper virtue entirely. That's the limitation of systems, whether religious or civic. They can point toward the good, but they can't make someone want to live it. In today's world, we're not often taught to think in terms of virtue. We think in terms of values, or boundaries, or emotional health. Those are important, too, but virtue speaks to something slightly different. It's not just about what you believe or what you feel. It's about the kind of person you are becoming. And that's where honor comes in, not as a historical artifact, but as a living virtue that still holds moral meaning. Especially in caregiving. How virtue becomes us. At its core, honor is a practiced virtue, a commitment to preserve the dignity of others, even when doing so is inconvenient, undeserved, or unreciprocated. But if honor is both a virtue, a quality we carry, and an action, a gift we offer, then that raises a more personal, searching question. How do we obtain it in order to give it? Are we born with honor, like a seed lying dormant in the soul? Do we gain it through religious belief? Through reflection? Through repetition? Or is it something we earn only by choosing it, one decision at a time? It's not an academic question. It's a human one. Because most of us want to live honorably, we want to be seen as people of integrity, people who do the right thing even when it's hard. But we don't always know how to become that kind of person. So where does virtue begin? Ancient wisdom and the practice of character. Philosophers, prophets, and intellectuals all have their theories on how virtue is developed. Aristotle said we become virtuous by doing virtuous things. He wrote that we are not born with virtue, but we are born capable of it. It is formed in us through repetition, habit, and moral training. In his writings on ethics, he wrote, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. That means we don't start out as honorable people. We become them through what we choose to do, and do again, and do still when no one else is watching. Confucius believed that virtue was cultivated through right relationships and rituals, especially our reverence toward parents. He didn't separate moral behavior from social behavior. You learn honor, he taught, by living inside it, by practicing respect, submission, patience, and care. Virtue, in this sense, is not mystical. It's disciplinary. It's something we shape with the contours of our daily life. Franklin and the Virtue Ledger. Benjamin Franklin, never one to leave self-improvement to chance, created a virtue journal in his early 20s. He listed 13 values, from humility to frugality to sincerity, and tracked his adherence to them daily, like a moral spreadsheet. He understood something many of us forget: we are not naturally virtuous. We drift toward convenience, toward ego, toward comfort. But with intentionality, we can train ourselves toward something better. Resolve to perform what you ought, perform without fail what you resolve, he said. For Franklin, virtue wasn't a feeling. It was a practice, a system, a form of self-accountability. Not rooted in theology, but in the quiet dignity of becoming someone worth trusting. The spiritual path to virtue. In many religious traditions, virtue is seen not only as a choice but as a gift, a spiritual fruit that grows within the soul when nurtured by something greater than the self. In Christianity, the Apostle Paul called virtues the fruit of the Spirit, qualities like love, patience, kindness, and self-control. These aren't manufactured. They're cultivated. Prayer, community, suffering, and service are the soil in which they grow. Buddhism teaches that virtue arises from mindful intention and compassion. The path toward moral character is walked through awareness, detachment, and right action over a lifetime. And even in secular modern psychology, we now understand that habits shape identity. James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, writes, "Every action you take is a vote for the kind of person you want to become." Virtue as repetition, reflection, and resolve. So, whether you follow Aristotle or Franklin, the Buddha or the Apostle Paul, the answer seems to be this: virtue is not found. It is formed. It is shaped in the repetition of right actions. It is sharpened in the mirror of honest self-reflection. It is sustained by resolve, sometimes spiritual, sometimes moral, always chosen. You don't get to claim honor because you value it. You embody honor because you keep showing up to it, especially when no one is measuring. You become honorable not in the grand gesture, but in the quiet decision. To speak gently when anger would feel good. To do the right thing even when it costs you. To preserve another's dignity, especially when they can't preserve it themselves. And maybe that's what makes honor feel so rare in our time. It is not scarce because it's impossible. It's scarce because it's slow. Because it's not performative. Because it's not transactional. Honor, in its truest form, is quiet. It is patient. And it is powerful, not because it compels others, but because it forms us. And if virtue is the compass that steers us inward, then the next section asks what happens when love, the emotion we often rely on to keep us going, starts to falter. Because even if we form the compass of virtue, caregiving will test it. Love may not always be enough. But honor just might be.